Guo Huai said to Qiao Zhen. The Western Chang people have, since the time of Emperor Cao Cao, paid tribute to Wei year after year. During the reign of Emperor Qiao Pai, they were also treated with great favor and kindness. Because of this long-standing relationship, they are inclined to support us. At present, rather than clashing head-on with the Shu army, we should take advantage of the terrain and hold defensive positions. At the same time, we can secretly dispatch envoys through remote mountain paths into Chang territory, requesting their assistance and offering marriage alliances to strengthen our ties. If the Chang troops attack Shu from the rear, while we lead our main forces to strike from the front, the Shu army will be caught between two forces and surely suffer a devastating defeat. Qiao Zhen found this strategy reasonable and immediately sent messengers overnight to the Chang lands with gifts and letters requesting aid. The king of the Western Chang was named Kaliji. Since the time of Cao Cao, he had maintained close relations with Wei through regular tribute. Under him were two key figures: Prime Minister Yaden, who handled civil affairs, and Marshal Yueji, who commanded the army. When the Wei envoys arrived, they first presented valuable gifts of gold, silver, and jewels to Yaden, explaining in detail Wei's current situation and the urgent need for assistance. Yaden then brought the envoys into the royal court, where the letter and gifts were presented to King Kaliji. After reading the letter, Kaliji summoned his ministers to deliberate. Yaden spoke first. Wei has long been our ally. Now Qiao Zhen humbly requests our aid, and even offers marriage ties, showing great sincerity. It would be proper for us to send troops in support. Kaliji agreed without hesitation and ordered Yaden and Yueji to lead an army of 150,000 soldiers to war. This Chang army was formidable. Their soldiers were skilled in horseback riding and archery, wielding bows, crossbows, spears, and axes. They also used unique weapons such as caltrops and chain hammers. Most remarkable, however, was their iron chariot corps. These chariots were covered with iron plating and studded with spikes, making them both defensive fortresses and offensive weapons. They could carry supplies and weapons while also smashing through enemy formations. Pulled by camels and mules, they moved like mobile fortresses, like iron walls rolling across the battlefield. With overwhelming force, they advanced toward Shiping Pass. At Shiping Pass, the Shu general Han Zhen stood atop the walls and gazed into the distance. He saw clouds of dust rising into the sky as the Chang army approached like a surging tide. The endless line of iron chariots glinted coldly in the sunlight, forming a terrifying sight. Upon closer observation, he realized that the chariots were connected closely together, leaving almost no gaps, forming what appeared to be a moving steel fortress. Han Zhen was deeply alarmed. He knew that with his limited forces, he had no chance of resisting such an army in direct combat. If the pass were lost, the Chang forces would march straight into Shu territory, leading to disastrous consequences. Without delay, he ordered the gates sealed and defenses reinforced. At the same time, he selected several elite riders and commanded them to ride day and night to Zhuge Liang's camp to report the situation. Before they left, he repeatedly instructed them, "You must personally meet the Prime Minister and clearly explain the enemy's strength and their iron chariot formation. Do not make any mistakes." The messengers galloped off without rest and soon delivered the news to Zhuge Liang. After hearing the report, Zhuge Liang remained calm, though a trace of seriousness appeared on his face. He understood that this Chang army was unlike any previous enemy and could not be defeated by ordinary means. He gathered his generals and asked, "Who is willing to face the Chang army?" Guanxing and Zhang Bao immediately stepped forward to volunteer. Zhuge Liang nodded in approval but cautioned them. "Though you are brave, you are unfamiliar with the terrain and the enemy's tactics. Acting rashly could lead to danger. He then summoned Ma Dai, saying, "You have long been in the western regions and understand the Chang well. You will act as guide." He then assigned 50,000 elite troops to be led by Guan Xing, Zhang Bao, and Ma Dai. After several days of marching, they encountered the Chang army. Guan Xing led a small cavalry group to scout from a hilltop and observe the enemy carefully. The iron chariots formed a tightly connected defensive structure, with weapons mounted on them and soldiers guarding all sides. The entire camp resembled an iron fortress, perfectly organized and nearly impossible to penetrate. After observing for a long time, Guanxing found no weakness and returned to discuss with the others. Ma Dai suggested they should not act hastily, but first probe the enemy's strength. The next day, the Shu forces advanced in 3 divisions. Guanxing led the center, Zhang Bao the left, and Ma Dai the right. Marshal Yueji charged forward, wielding a massive iron hammer and displaying tremendous power. As the Shu forces advanced, the Chang suddenly shifted formation. Their flanks opened, and a massive wave of iron chariots surged forward, crashing toward the Shu army like a flood. At the same time, arrows rained down in overwhelming numbers. The Shu army was thrown into chaos. The front lines were smashed by chariots, while the rear was suppressed by arrows. The formation collapsed instantly. Ma Dai and Zhang Bao were forced to retreat, but Guanxing, having advanced too far, was surrounded. He fought desperately but could not break through the iron encirclement. As night fell, Yueji pursued him relentlessly. Cornered at a cliff, Guanxing turned to fight. After several exchanges, Yueji's strength proved overwhelming. Guanxing attempted to escape, but Yueji struck his horse, sending both rider and mount into a ravine. At that critical moment, something extraordinary occurred. Yueji also fell into the ravine as if struck by an unseen force. Guanxing, struggling in the water, looked up and saw a mighty warrior driving back the Chang soldiers. As he looked closer, he saw the unmistakable figure of his father, Guan Yu, appearing in divine form, wielding the green dragon blade and riding the red hare. Guan Yu pointed the way and instructed him to flee. Moments later, the vision vanished. Guanxing, deeply shaken, followed the direction given and escaped. Later, he met Zhang Bao, who reported seeing the same vision. The two regrouped and returned to camp, realizing that this enemy could not be defeated by force alone. Zhuge Liang then devised a new strategy. He set ambushes and prepared a trap. He predicted that heavy snow would soon fall, which could be used to conceal terrain. He ordered Jiang Wei to engage the enemy and feign retreat, while leaving camps empty as bait. Soon, a snowstorm covered the land, flattening the appearance of the terrain and hiding pits and hazards. Jiang Wei lured Yueji forward. Seeing the Shu camp empty, Yueji believed victory was near and advanced recklessly. Suddenly, the ground collapsed. Hidden pits swallowed soldiers and chariots. The iron chariots collided with one another, causing massive chaos. At that moment, Shu forces attacked from all directions, raining arrows and striking from both front and rear. The Chang army was completely destroyed. Zhuge Liang did not execute Yadan, but instead treated him kindly, releasing him along with prisoners and returning their equipment. He urged peace between Shu and the Chang. Meanwhile, Cao Zhen mistakenly pursued the Shu army and fell into an ambush, suffering heavy losses. Cao Rui then recalled Sima Yi, who immediately acted with speed and decisiveness. At the same time, Mengda plotted rebellion but underestimated Sima Yi. Sima Yi marched rapidly without waiting for orders, and used deception to confuse Mengda. When Mengda realized the truth, it was too late. His city was surrounded, and he was killed. Sima Yi was then entrusted with great authority, marking his rise as a major rival to Zhuge Liang. Summary. This chapter is divided into two main parts. In the first half, Zhuge Liang demonstrates his mastery of strategy by using terrain, weather, and deception to defeat the powerful Chang Iron Chariot army. His ability to turn natural conditions into tactical advantages shows his brilliance. Additionally, his humane treatment of captives reflects his political wisdom in winning over allies rather than relying solely on force. Guanxing's vision of Guan Yu adds a mythical and emotional layer to the story, symbolizing legacy and protection. In the second half, Sima Yi emerges as an equally formidable strategist. His swift suppression of Meng Da's rebellion highlights his decisiveness, intelligence, and ability to act independently under pressure. The contrast between Meng Da's arrogance and the calculated precision of Zhuge Liang and Sima Yi emphasizes the importance of foresight and discipline. This chapter marks the beginning of the true strategic rivalry between Zhuge Liang and Sima Yi, setting the stage for their legendary confrontations. Knowledge points. 1. The Iron Chariot troops described in the novel are fictionalized. While the Chang people did exist and interact with Wei, historical records such as records of the Three Kingdoms do not mention such advanced armored formations. Their real strength lay in cavalry and archery. 2. The snow trap strategy is an exaggeration. Although Zhuge Liang did lead northern campaigns, there is no historical evidence of such a large-scale snow-based ambush destroying an entire army. 3. Zhuge Liang's act of releasing prisoners and returning equipment is idealized. While he valued diplomacy, such actions would have been impractical in real warfare due to limited resources. 4. The novel claims Su Huang died in battle against Meng Da, but historically he died of illness, not in combat.